Hello and welcome to the AOR Formula Renault 2.0 series for rounds 14 and 15 of the championship. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick here with Joseph Ingros and Alex Simpson. And Joe, last time we saw two really good races, one of strategy, one of pure action. I think we're going to see the same here at Brands Hatch.
Yep, we're back in Britain once again, coming home from Donington last week. We're here at Brands Hatch today. As you mentioned, we had two very exciting races last week for the lead, with Godin winning last week, in the feature race, and it was Kerry Oldham winning for the second time this season in the sprint race. So hopefully we can see some battles again today. It looked pretty close in practice, so yeah, should be a cracker, Sam.
Yeah, and Alex, one of the things about Rennie Oskamp, he's absolutely dominated this championship so far. However, he hasn't won a feature race since the very first round. I imagine he'll want to be changing that this time.
Yep, hello everybody, good to be here. Yes, absolutely. It's been a funny sort of few weeks for him. I mean, he's, really sort of stamping his authority on the championship, but then, he's had little mistakes here, there, and not perhaps still won some races and things like that. But yeah, get a feature race win. That'll do him no harm at all. And we were talking off air. It's not going to be too long. He carries on winning races that could end up wrapping up this championship a bit on the early side.
Yeah, Renee's currently on 335 points. His teammate Patrick Kessler on 270. And it's Charlie Summers on 195. So certainly going to be one of those two Sim-RC drivers, and it's looking strong for Renault. He's seemingly had a little bit of an edge on his teammate, and in fact, really, Joe, on the entire field for the majority of the season.
Yeah, with no disrespect to the rest of the field, it is a very competitive series. We've seen various race winners this season so far, but as we saw last season, Renault Oskamp was a class above the rest, as he goes half a second faster than anybody so far in qualifying, standing his point at the top there. So, he showed it. He hadn't won a championship in this series in AOR ever before last season, and looks like he's going to retain his title.
Yeah, the two Sim-RC guys out there look really strong. In practice, Kessler managed to do an 18.0, and currently Osterkamp's pole time is an 18.1. Next best is 18.6 from Phil Reed. So it's really looking like it's going to take Osterkamp's teammate to take him off top spot. And Alex, we saw the BSR IMSA race actually on Sunday round here, and we kind of saw overtaking was really difficult. It is one of the main characteristics of this circuit.
Yeah, it is, but actually I've done a few races here in this Formula Renault, and I don't think they're going to have too much of an issue. There's enough of a run down the back straight to get a side-by-side. It may be difficult into paddock, but I do think they'll get a run and might be able to stick their nose up the inside into Druids as well. So I do think we'll see some overtakes. There's enough of slipstream in this car to sort of make it happen, and Sterling's not too taxing on these cars. There's so much downforce in there, so we can get that good run. Where we want to see some action in the back half of the the circuit around the GP part.
Yeah, and just popping up to second place on the grid is Jean-Francois Godin. And Joe, you've of course raced against Godin, and last week at Donington we saw an incredibly well-measured drive. He saved fuel in the first race and managed to get an overcut of a couple of laps and went on to win that one. It certainly appears like he's a very smart and very quick driver as well.
Yeah, he's been racing in this series for many seasons now, so very experienced with the car. You could call him a veteran. That showed last week. The Flying Fuchs driver, you could say he was a bit of a fox last week, playing that strategical game, and it paid off for him. Just less than half a tenth slower than Osterkamp so far in qualifying, and looks like we could have another battle here today with them two.
Yeah, I think at Donington it was something like 2/100ths of a second, so they are extremely evenly matched, but it certainly seems though Godin had the small advantage. Just watching Daniel Morris come across the line, to put himself in P11. That'd be one of his best qualifying sessions, I think, of the season. But in these Formula Renaults, Alex, are incidents going to be aplenty, or do you think this car kind of favours this circuit quite well?
Yeah, it does work quite well here. I do think we'll see, a couple of incidents. It is still quite a tight track. It is quite demanding. There's, apart from Graham Hill, Ben coming off of there's not an awful lot of runoff and, old school circuit where, after the curb, there's the grass. So I do feel we'll see the odd spin here and there, especially when we see some side-by-side action. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and Joe, is there anyone down the field who I think kind of needs to catch a break, kind of maybe has been a little bit unlucky in recent rounds, but you think can maybe, prop up and maybe score a podium?
I think one driver who's definitely been unlucky recently is Ty McLeod. Hasn't set a lap so far in qualifying, and he got DSQ'd 11th in the last race, but I know he got DSQ'd because he got hit, so that's a shame for him. Looking up there's a few drivers that could probably sneak a podium. Evan Imre seems to be having a pretty good pace today. Currently sitting in P10. Maybe in the sprint race we could see something from him, but in the feature race it's going to be the main guys that you see there up the top, like Osterkamp, Godin and Herman.
Yeah, certainly seems that way. Just watching Keeman coming around the final few corners. He's had a decent run of races recently, been a little bit more consistent as Keeman, and just racked up the points recently. But let's see what time he can put as he comes across the line. Currently in P17, and he'll be hoping to get ahead of Van Humen and Ryan at the very least, but I think he's failed to improve just a few tenths of his best time. Now Godin comes into the final sector of the lap, and Alex, this section of the circuit is almost like threading the needle, but at the same time, particularly in these cars with the downforce, you gotta be just so committed as well.
Oh, you have completely. It's a lot of fun around here actually, but like you say, you can get it wrong very easy. Half a foot wide, and you catch the grass, and it's almost game over really. So looked like a good lap from Godin. See what he does as he crosses the line. Tight to the line. I think it might be quite good. Is it? Or is it just a pace lap? If it was, it didn't count. So. Yeah, no improvement anyway. No. Who else have we still got out there?
Yeah, I wonder if it was just invalidated, but he just wanted to have a see what time it would have been, kind of reminiscing of what could have been. But yeah, Daniel Morris once again, currently in P11, and yeah, like I said earlier, this would be one of his better qualifying positions. Currently just behind Evan Imre as he comes through these final few corners. Joe, is this a circuit that you've raced much in this series before, or is this like new for the series?
This is sort of my first proper season of racing the series, but last season it was on the calendar as where Osterkamp won the championship in a showdown with Mark Usher. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So personally, as Alex said, I think that these cars definitely suit the track, and it'll be interesting to see how these drivers sort of adapt to that, especially in turn one. Will be interesting to see what happens there. And I'm hearing by the looks of things that Alexei Sorokin will be starting from the pit lane, so that'll move everyone up essentially.
Yep, and now actually can take you through the grid now that they are gridding up. So it's Rennie Osterkamp with another pole position, looking strong in that Somarcy car, but Jean-Francois Godin and Stefan Herman are going to be pushing him hard in second and third. Patrick Kessler couldn't quite replicate his practice form. He starts fourth, could still be a danger. Christian Takacs in fifth. Phil Reed starts in sixth. Charlie Summers seventh. Lubomir March eighth. Alexei Sorokin might be starting from the pit lane, so he probably won't start from ninth. Evan Imre 10th. Daniel Morris in 11th. Glenn Andre Key 12th. Yuri Mojak in 13th, Sarah Duff 14th, Connor Ryan 15th, Tom Van Humen in 16th, I am Keeman 17th, Alistair Hay in 18th, Urkel Lindstrom in 19th, Robert Plumley starts in 20th, Alec Hudson 21st, Marvin Sluman in 22nd, that's Marcel Miles, Jordan Pierce, and Ty McLeod once again starting low down the field. Alex, I wonder what that's got to do with anything. I wonder why he's not set a qualifying lap once again.
Yeah, I'm not sure really on that. He'll have to obviously pull out the stops, won't he, just to work his way through the field. Fortunately, like I say, I think he'll be able to do it. We'll follow his progress throughout the race.
Yeah, now we're away, and Osterkamp's into the lead straight away, and it's Godin trying to go around the outside here, but I think Osterkamp's going to hold it, but Godin's going to try to round the outside, can't quite. Can he get to the inside, maybe the turn two? Osterkamp's being pretty confident, and he can just stay in that lead position, and just behind it's Herman. Reed's gained a position on Takacs, and side by side here, Summers losing out to Lubomir March once again. Looked like he was going to make that position, but here comes, he's coming back again, and down the inside there goes Phil Reed on Patrick Kessler. Brilliant start for Reed, up from 6th to 4th.
Yeah, good start from Phil Reed there, making 2 positions at the start of this race. Another mover, Jordan Pierce, Marvin Sluman towards the back of the field. Looks like Alec Hudson's had a problem, -2 positions. And Alexis Sorotkin, as mentioned, -16, so I'm guessing he started from the pit lane.
Yeah, it's all very chaotic down here. Yuri Mojak just hanging on. Not sure who that was against, but Phil. But it's yeah, very close in this bottom pack, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, they're fighting all the way through. I think we're just about starting to get to single file as we've almost completed a lap. Ooh, is that very slow on the inside? I think that is Yuri there, isn't it? And Hay going past him around the outside as they approach Paddock Hill turn for the first time. But up front, well, pretty close between our leaders, just a 0.3 of a second. A couple of drivers into the pits as well on that first lap, so unfortunately Ty was one of them and Sorotkin was the other that Joe mentioned.
Yeah, I believe Sorotkin was just coming out of the pits as they came round, so I'm guessing he just came out. He said he was going to start in the pit lane, so yeah, he just came out.
Christian Takacs in as well, problem for him. Let me see, I think I should be able to get this onto a replay for us here. Oh, well, it's well and truly in the wall at that point. See where he went off.
Yeah, he started high up, and
Oh,
just a bit of contact there, and oh, it's a weird one. I wonder, do you think that was a hardware failure? Alex, he seemed very slow all of a sudden.
Yeah, he did. I don't really know. Just getting bashed about a bit, wasn't he, more than anything? So, yeah, not sure what to make of that.
So they complete lap 2 and onto the 3rd, and Godin's still pressuring Osterkamp, staying in touch. Can be difficult to force a move, but on this Grand Hatch circuit, so easy to make a costly error, and that's what he's got to do. And also can save a little bit of fuel. I imagine, Jay, they're going to be able to go quite far in this race on their first tank of fuel, just because of the kind of the lack of fuel usage around here.
yeah, and it's a pretty short lap as well, so you'll be able to do quite a few laps, but you should probably see pit stops towards the final third of the race, unless we see some early makers into the pit lane.
I just saw Robert Plumley put in a purple first sector. I don't think that's right, but yeah, back to you, Alex.
Yeah, I can't see that here. Just looking at Phil Reed, he was just getting a little bit sort of like, twitchy, getting a bit very, very racy on the back straight, looking like he wanted to try and make a move on Herman. So he wants to get this by. That gap's pretty close. I don't think I've seen it quite as close.
Yeah, he's going to the slipstream now. He's going to gain down this down this straight, and he'll look to the inside. Maybe not too much of a defence put up by Herman, And now this is really the main opportunity on the circuit. You can go for a dive on the inside, but just has to sit in behind Herman. And Herman seemingly struggling to keep up with the two leaders. He looked really strong in qualifying, but just doesn't seem to have the same race pace.
Yeah, it was less than a tenth off Renault in qualifying. Just hasn't been there. Been battling with Phil for a bit, but Phil hasn't really gone for a move so far. So maybe Herman just struggling a bit with race pace. We know that he's quick, but maybe not quick enough today.
Yeah, Nags, he doesn't seem to have too much of a desperation to necessarily make up this position. Seems quite happy just to sit in behind. Could that be anything to do with the fuel, or does he just want to bide his time and make sure of this move?
Yeah, I mean, he looked pretty racy the last lap, but you're right. He just didn't get quite the run that he wanted, and it just picks up an off track there as well, and not what he wants. So I think he's just got to settle into his rhythm a little bit more. Maybe just pressure Herman into a little bit of a mistake, and then maybe we'll see him pounce. The interesting thing is they are still pulling away from Kessler behind, which is kind of what you want to do. It's nice to have a little bit of a gap ready for when you do want to start to make a push.
Yeah, absolutely. Kessler really seems a little bit off the pace in qualifying, and struggling to kind of keep up with his practice form, where he looked so strong setting that 18.0, fastest of anyone, and in this race and in qualifying just doesn't quite have that. But we've got a terrific battle right now from about 5th to, well, it's pretty much to the back of the field. It's incredibly close. There's not more than half a second between any of the cars between about 5th and 14th. It's absolutely in a chain right now. And Joel, that incident with, I think it was the Takacs at the start, maybe, do you think Kessler was involved in that? Because he's really seemingly struggling right now. He's some 6 seconds off Phil Reed already.
I'm not too sure if Kessler's involved in it. He looked to get a bit of a hit from behind one of the PSR cars, and the highest PSR car that up the field currently is Morich, and that was pretty much where Christian was. So, and he did make contact with a blue car, and that blue car may have been Phil Reed. So, just a bit of got unlucky. Takacs there, one of those things, but I'm sure he'll come back fighting in the sprint race.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, March currently got quite a queue behind him. And Alex, once you get kind of into these queues and you're stuck behind another driver, it's really difficult to kind of break the pattern, because all of a sudden the driver ahead kind of knows where you're quick, knows where they're quick, and yeah, it's difficult to force the move eventually.
There's nothing worse than when you've got a big pack behind you, because in your head, all you're saying is, damn it, I've got to truly train, choo-choo's coming through, and you're like, I've got to break away, you push more, and then all of a sudden you're making silly little mistakes, and you can't pull away from these guys, and yeah, it just compounds the problem. But yeah, unfortunately, whoever come up with truly train, that's it sticks in everyone's head.
And like Joe, right now, I imagine March must just be watching his mirrors. Do you think he is trying to make a gap, or do you think he's literally just thinking, if I can hang on to this 6th place, that would be a great result?
I reckon he's going to be pushing as much as he can. He won't want to be battling Evan, Charlie. I mean, Evan isn't usually up that far. Fair play to him for being up that far, as we see a bit of a lock up there from Lubner there. But he knows that Charlie Summers is a real threat on his day. He's got his teammate behind Charlie, Glenn Andre Key, so it'll be interesting to see maybe a bit of team orders there from PSR, seeing what they do to fight off those cars there.
Yeah, certainly going to be one strategy. You really do need your allies with you, and yeah, side by side now coming down into this one. Can he hang it round the outside? Oh, just about losing out there to Key to Summers. Summers making back up the position, I think. And yeah, up into... Oh, sorry, that was Summers defending, wasn't it, against Key? So Summers I think, fourth in the championship currently. And he's another one struggling, but a guy who's having a great day today, Alex, is certainly Glennon Key.
Yeah, good race for Key so far. Showing he can mix it with the quick guys out there. There's another good little battle going on right now, a little 3-car battle. This is for this will be for 9th, and sorry, no, it's just sort of 12th. They're just tagging onto the back of that pack there. But yeah, so you've got that is Herman, Morris, and Keenman. They were extremely close, just as I was about to flip to them. Less than a tenth of a second separating all three.
Yeah, Morris, one of the few drivers out there to have actually lost positions since the start of the race. I think he's probably just got a little bit of a bad launch. Maybe just got hung out to dry in the first few corners. And yeah, he stays in 13th position at the moment, but now he's in the slipstream of Van Humen. He really needs to close in as close as possible, but not quite. And another thing with the overtaking, Joe, do you kind of need to set up the car ever so slightly differently so that it's not necessarily about ultimate pace? You do need that like little bit less drag so you can actually make the overtakes.
I think the slipstream is sort of the main thing with these cars. It can be quite strong around some circuits. Around here, it's not as strong as some other circuits, but I think you just set up the car for the track, and if you get a good qualifying, you do. And there's Daniel Morris pits.
Yeah, that's an odd one. Yeah,
it's an early stop. We're only 11 minutes into this race, 29 minutes to go, and Daniel Morris is in already. So maybe he's had a bit of an issue somewhere in that battle we were watching just a couple of minutes ago.
Well, 11 minutes, it might be on the cusp. Like, if this is, if this is to plan, and he can go to the end of the race, this might be an absolute genius call from Daniel Morris, because he was struggling a little bit out there. I think he was in this massive pack and just wasn't really going anywhere. But a guy who is trying to go somewhere is Glennon Key right now. He was right close to Charlie Summers down into turn 1. And now that we're getting to this point, is it just going to take that little bit of bravery, just that, extra 10 meters on the brakes, which is going to make the difference?
Yeah, I think so, to a point. Certainly just to perhaps get Summers offline a little bit, maybe defending a little bit tight so you can compromise his exit and then get a run. That's what it's all about. If you're constantly just playing it safe behind them, they get comfortable, you've got to show your nose everywhere every now and again just to sort of make him defend, cover up the inside a little bit and get him offline.
Well, these drivers currently are some 1.5 seconds slower than the leaders. In fact, Summers has had a better lap this time, only a second slower than the leaders. But yeah, still Osterkamp leading this one, and it's only by about a second right now over Jean-Francois Godin. That last lap, they were separated by just 3/100ths of a second. And here's defensive now for Herman. And Kessler going round past Reed, and he's just about made it. That brilliant move from Phil Reed, but Kessler trying to fight back, but not quite. That was a really good move, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah, good move around the outside there for Phil. Back up into P4. Herman a bit of the way down the field, down the track even, a couple of seconds. So just to point out that sort of the other guys have sort of dropped back from this pack now, a good 7 seconds. So it sort of seems to be 2 sections of the field today, the top 5 and the best of the rest.
Yeah, certainly seems so. And that hasn't really been something we've seen so far this season, Alex. It's usually kind of maybe there's a standout driver or two who pull away in the lead, but it tends to kind of be kind of 4th to 10th, all very, very close.
Sorry, I was doing a bit of play with the overlays.
No problem.
I was just trying to get one of the new features to work, and yeah, no time like the present. Sorry, can you just say that again?
Oh yeah, I was just saying, Joe was just making the analysis how it's very much kind of the top 5 at the moment, and then everyone else. And I was just saying how that's not really been how the season's gone. It's usually been kind of very close for like the bottom kind of for kind of the top 5 positions.
Yeah, you're right. It has been all season actually, and I think you know, we've seen different people be able to mix it up and take wins. So yeah, to see the guys just running away, and the thing is that they're starting to separate apart a little bit now at the front too. So could just be just you know, the nature of the circuit. Perhaps you know, we said how you know, precise you need to be around here because it can punish you with the grass and things like that. So you know what they say, sometimes the cream rises to the top.
Yeah, and Godham's just had an awful lap. Lost about 1.6 seconds. We got Charlie Summers in. I wonder, Summers was so far off the pace. He didn't have a brilliant week last week, to be fair. Last time out at Donington. But he was so far off the pace, Jay. I do wonder maybe if he was that car who made contact with Takacs early on, and because it's rare to see Charlie that far off the pace because he's won races so far this season.
Yeah, Charlie is one of the fastest drivers in the championship. It was definitely a Team AOR blue car that we saw. So that only really, yeah, I believe that must have been Charlie then, because Phil was in the purple car. So my mistake there, and it might have been either Key, it might have been Key that was involved. So that is a shame, and Charlie must have got damage from that. So yeah, that's what has left him off the pace seemingly.
Yeah, now he can presumably fix that. Hopefully for the drivers who are coming into the pits to fix that damage. And I must say, the drivers kind of fighting Summers right now. Just looking at Summers' pit stop time, 29 seconds, a very quick one, Alex, compared to others that we've seen. Do you think that's just because others have pitted early to fix the damage?
Yeah, possibly. You know, maybe some wing damage or something like that. So they've just had to change the nose cone. We'll see. I think when the rest of sort of the mid pack and the front guys start to pit, whether or not that's going to be quick or not. So, and there's a couple that are similar sort of times to that. Morris was obviously a bit slower. So, yeah, we'll have to. I think we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. As Summers actually goes past Marvin there as well, moves himself up and into 15th.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Joe, but is this Marvin's first race of the season? I'm not sure if I've seen him around.
I believe he raced Silverstone. He was battling towards the back with me, I believe. And don't believe he finished. I'll have a look in the championship standings, but he hasn't raced too many races this season, for sure. He may have raced the Nordschleife as well, but I will just double check.
Well, he's keeping it clean out there at the moment. He's running in 16th place, up 6 positions. Of course, that's got a lot to do with the pit stops going on. But you never know, if we get a full reverse or something, we could be right up the field for race 2, which would be great to see. But still near the front, Andre Key just hanging on against Sarah Dove. Sarah looks really quick up there, Alex. Started in 14th. Didn't look particularly quick in qualifying, but she's just made rapid progress up the field.
Yeah, 5 places so far, doing good lap times as well in the 19, so not a million miles off what the leaders are doing out there. So good strong pace. Keep that going. Maybe try and get onto the back of Key, get into that slipstream, and you never know what can happen. They're obviously in their pit stop window. So maybe an overcut or an undercut could be on.
Yeah, and a couple of drivers who are very close at the moment are Van Humen and Lindstrom. Just 3/10 between those two. And actually, Lindstrom on that last lap was some 3/10 faster. So yeah, they're looking close. And if you were Dove in this situation, Joe, do you think you'd be in right now just to try to get the undercut, or would you just wait for Key to pit, because it's not going to be too long until he pits as well?
I mean, personally, I think with these cars, because these tyres last forever, you could drive them for years and they wouldn't die out. They would just never hit the cliff. I think the longer you run, the sort of bigger the advantage you have because you're running on less fuel, and then you're filling up less, which is less time in the pit lane. So I think you just sort of stay out as long as you can, unless you need a bit of clear air. Sarah really doesn't seem to be losing too much time behind Glenn. Still in the 19.6s, so she's way faster than Tom. Good 7 odd temps and matching the guys in front. So I don't really see a need for her to come in quickly.
Yeah, and a driver right now who was pitted earlier on, Charlie Summers, just did a 19.15, which is some half a second faster. And let's look at this battle. So that was Lindstrom was like going past Van Human, and yeah, Lindstrom in P9. But Summers really taking some good laps right now. Alex, I think he's going to be gaining a few positions when the others pit later on. I think he might go from what 9th he was in to maybe fighting for the maybe even inheriting P6.
Yeah, what sort of low 19s at the moment. So like you say, that looks good. Alistair Hay into the pits as well. So yeah, could well just come out at the front of that pack that he was battling in, which I think was the idea of the early pit stop, really. But yeah, great move from Lindstrom there that we saw as well. So clearly had a good amount of sort of speed advantage on Tom, and yeah, right around the outside, beautiful.
Yeah, and Lindstrom's got quite a bit to catch up to Sarah Dove now, some 8 seconds. So unless there's some issue in the pits, I think, for the cars ahead, it might be as far as Urquhart gets up through the field, but he's got good pace at the moment. Herman is under pressure from Reed once again. Reed has really set up the timing recently. He was half a second faster than the leader on that last lap was Phil Reed. Will he be into the pits? No, he won't. He's going to stay up for another lap. And he's gaining closer and closer. This is incredible from Phil Reed. That last lap, an 18.68, a purple third sector, and now he's just 2/10 behind. He's right in the slipstream, not going to quite go for it. Yeah, waiting behind still. But this is absolutely incredible, Joe, right now from Phil Reed. He dropped about 2 seconds behind at one point, and now all of a sudden he's right on the tail. And he's nearly making contact.
Yeah, Phil is a very experienced driver, but I mean, probably a lot of some people may know, but Phil races on the pad somehow.
Jeez,
so
impressive.
Very impressive from Phil.
And he's fast as well. Fast Stephen Herman, who gave up without too much of a fight, I must say, at the inside line, which you know, it's probably the line that you want, if anything, but gave that one up quite easily.
Yeah, Phil didn't have the best of weeks last week either, DSQ and a DNF, so hitting that instant cap in the first race and crashing out in the second race, or having a bit of an incident somewhere most likely. But P3 is a very, very good result. He won the sprint race at Monza, so he's definitely had the pace this season and had a podium in Japan at Suzuka. So he's had a pretty good season, currently P7 in the championship.
Yeah, I think Reed may have been fighting for the top. It was in 3rd position in the championship earlier on in the series. Yeah, recently results just haven't really gone his way. He's had an 11th and 11th, then that win at Monza that you mentioned, then a did not start, a disqualification, and it did not finish. So he really wants a better turn form. Conor Ryan was looking really racy actually out there. Was right on the tail of Van Human. He's come into the pits now, clearly looking for that undercut, I believe, Alex.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get a run, and yeah, got a little bit squirrely, didn't he, off of the penultimate corner, and I think that's probably why he thought, well, you know what, I'll jump in now, and yeah, I'll try and get this move done in the pits. So it's always the easiest way, if you can pull it off.
Yeah, 100%. And Herman now not look too far ahead of Kessler, but Key right on the tail now of Imre, and yeah, Key's slowly made that progress up. Imre has really just got a good start. I think has been running kind of in P7, P8 throughout the event so far. We wait to see if either of those two come in. Interesting that Charlie Summers is currently the first driver out of everyone who's come into the pits, but it's mainly the drivers who were running in kind of the bottom 10 who have pitted so far. So don't read too much into that. But Summers still putting in those top times at the moment. He's some 3/4 of a second faster than Norwich. Surely, Joe, Norwich has got to be in soon because I think it's going to be close now. When he pits, Summers could get track position.
Yeah, this is essentially the pit window now, so expect the top guys in any moment now in the next couple of laps. We've got just over 15 minutes left, and we should expect Norwich in. I mean, you probably won't know the pace of Summers, but he must be what's his pace related to everyone else? He's pretty similar compared to everyone else around him, pretty much matching Evan, but expect to see a couple of guys in soon.
I do now have the ability to give you what the gap's been over the last sort of 7 or 6 or so laps. So let's just take a quick look at the graphic and see what's gone down. So yeah, from Summers to Norwich, you can see that gap was lap 12 was 28.1 seconds. It's down to 25.4. So he's been he's bringing that down pretty rapidly. So you're right, Lumire's going to have to get into the pits a bit sharper.
Lumire stayed out this lap though, so will lap 20 be the lap that Lumire Norwich comes into the pit lane? Have to wait and see towards the end of the lap, of course.
They just did a 19.6. He's quick right now as much. It's just not as quick as Charlie Summers, who's actually in traffic now. He's behind Robert Plumley, and this could be crucial. He just did an 18.93. That's faster than the leader. There's no sign of Summers not showing the form he's shown earlier on in the season, because it seems to be having a little bit of a dip earlier on, but now he's stuck behind Plumley, and all of a sudden this strategy may not work so well. But if he can get past Plumley, he should have a nice bit of clear air, so could be strong if he can just clear this one nice and quick. And Glenn, Andre Key and Evan Imre, and also Sarah Dove still really close out there. And surely Key has got to come into the pits, because he's now spent, Alex, some 4 laps behind Imre, and he's just it hasn't looked like he's going to make a move so far. I just feel as though he's kind of wasting his time here. Shouldn't he be into the pits, taking the initiative and trying to win track position, because he's clearly got better pace?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's constantly trying to hope and pray that it's going to be Imre that's going to come into the pits first, and he's going to try and do it via the overcut. But every time that Imre stays out there, I think it's an opportunity missed. So obviously he gets to know what he's going to do. He can see the driver ahead of him, whether he's going to duck in or not. So you're right. I think he's got an opportunity. He's in that window. He can come in anytime he wants. So what might be 1 or 2 laps, that might be all he needs to get the job done.
My glasses to the inside, just trying to pull him off. Of course, you're never going to go for a dive bomb into that corner, because the braking zone is so small. And René's in, and I think he was losing a little bit of time to Godin. Godin seemed to have about a 10th a lap so far this event, but he's made a couple of mistakes. He made a mistake earlier on which cost him about 1.5 seconds. And there is a move perhaps, and Andre Key looking to the outside of Imre, and he's going to go all the way through here, but into the pits comes Imre. Probably the smart decision, otherwise Dove I think was going to get him as well. And here comes Dove, actually got much better run onto the pit straight, and now she's stuck behind Andre Key a little bit. But this is what Alex was saying. This is now Key's chance, Joe, and he's really got to make it pay now.
Yeah, he's got to push harder than he has so far this race. He's got clear air. He's got 13 seconds up the road is René Osterkamp, who's just come into the pit lane. So he's got the space to race. Just needs to push as hard as he can, but make sure he doesn't make a mistake. Sarah Dove is right behind him. He doesn't want to end up behind her.
And quite interesting, Alex, Summers was only just ahead of Imre. So clearly Summers, I don't think is actually going to be able to push March, who's actually coming to the pit. So March is actually quite a bit clear. He's about 5 seconds clear, so could maybe catch up later on. But Summers had a little bit of a slow pit stop, probably due to that damage. And I think because of that, I don't think he's going to be able to pressure March. Certainly not in the next few laps.
Yeah, they kind of led us into a little bit of false excitement there, didn't they? Because obviously a couple of the drivers you pitted early, so you Daniel Morris, for example, with his 40-second pit stop from cone to cone, and then along comes Summers some 10 seconds quicker. We're thinking, wow, that's a really quick time. But yeah, most of the guys are out there doing 24 to 25 seconds, sort of commitment cone to commitment cone time loss there. So yeah, actually lost 5 seconds to Summers in the pits.
And Robert Plumley's just come into the pits, by the way. But yeah, Imre's only just clear of Summers. Just wonder if Key can nail a couple of lights, just in a 19.33. That's in comparison to Summers' 19.57. This is possible, Joe, that he could actually maybe stay ahead of Summers when Key and Dove come into the pits.
Yeah, it would be very, very close. Considering Evan was literally right on the back of Charlie when he came out of the pits. Glenn and Sarah will be nip and tuck with Summers. So could have a bit of a battle. We see various drivers in the pit lane. Godin, Phil Reed. Who else is that? A couple of guys a lap behind. Marvin Sluman, Jordan Pierce, all into the pit lane now. Lap traffic getting out of the way of the leaders there.
Yeah, Godin still 2.5 seconds off the lead, so no seemingly kind of close in on the lead there, but he's going to have to absolutely nail this to the end of the race. Phil Reed, though, good news for Godin, is now 6.8 seconds behind Godin, so he's going to be fine from him. And Van Human just pitted in, but still Key and Dove staying out. And yeah, they're the two that we need to watch, I think, Alex, when they come out of the pits, because they're going to be right into the heart of it.
Yeah, still lapping well. I mean, Zara low 19 again, Key sort of mid 19, and the rest of the field sort of similar pace, and some in the 20s as well, high 19s, some 20s. So they're still looking really good. And it seems to me like the later you go, the stops seem to be getting quicker and quicker, but not by much. We're only talking, a sort of a half a second so far. So I don't know why that would be, but definitely a bit of a pattern on the pit stop times appearing.
Yeah, and they need every half a second they can get, because let's see if they come in and they both do so. Maybe that was the absolute limit of the fuel time. We are 32 minutes into this race, so they did go a very long way, and now this is the moment of truth. We need to be watching out for Summers and Imre. Summers has pulled out quite a nice lead on Imre, and Imre's had a couple of poor laps, so I think there might actually be quite far clear. Here comes Summers across the line, and he is just ahead.
Jumped both of them.
Yeah, and Key and Dove are ahead of Imre, so it's really not worked out for Imre whatsoever, Joe.
Yeah, he's dropped 3 positions, so Evan will be kicking himself inside of that car if he can. He's going to want to try and get past Sarah. We've got 7 minutes left of the race, so that probably works out to about 5, 6 maybe laps to go in this race. So he's got a bit of time to get past Sarah, but Sarah's going to be in the slipstream of Glenn, and Glenn may be in the slipstream of Charlie very soon. So it's going to be tight.
It's funny, we give Key a bit of stick, didn't we, for not getting in and getting the undercut done because he was that much quicker. But yeah, in the end, it all kind of worked out for him. He managed to get the overcut, and yeah, his strategy looked like it was on point.
Yeah. Once again, wrong with that one. Yeah,
this is why we're in the box and not on the race.
We've got used to getting these strategy calls wrong, let's say, but they always seem to do the opposite of what we told them to do, and then turns out that's the right move. But still, Herman and Herman is quite a bit clear of Summers. yeah, it could actually be caught up by Summers by the end of this race, Alex, because Summers closing in a little bit. Herman and March both have good pace, but that kind of 5th to 7th battle could still be on.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, looking at them, the quickest driver out there was Summers. So yeah, I think somebody mentioned in the chat that he's probably had a bit of damage at the start of the race, and that's why he's struggling a little bit. And now he's certainly picked the pace up. So, quarter of a second quicker than Herman, 0.3 of a second quicker than Lubria ahead. So yeah, and actually, a good half a second faster than Kessler. So I think that's probably a little bit too far, but we definitely could see, a good little scrap for 5th.
Yeah, it's been
6 minutes, mind you. He's got to go. It's going to have to go some. I mean, it's going to need to be a half a second lap. So there's me thinking, oh, we've got half the race left, but suddenly we're at 35-minute mark. Look at that.
Yeah, it's incredible with these races. Every time I just look across and yeah, it's 35 minutes into the race and it's, yeah, fly by these ones. Yeah, it's been fascinating with the strategy so far. So certainly has time has certainly flown by, and yeah, Herman and March in Summers' sight. It's been a bit of an odd one for Kessler, I'd say, Jay. I was mentioning earlier how quick he was in practice, and struggled to kind of show that in qualifying and the race. And he's a long way behind his teammate right now. He's some 25 seconds off Renault.
Yeah.
That's not really the pace we usually associate with him.
No, it's not. We usually expect Patrick to be right up there. It's kind of odd. He was up there in qualifying and he was up there in practice. He's been with him all season. I mean, Renault's had the edge over Patrick, but I don't know. He's just sort of been in no man's land, and he hasn't been as fast as the top 3, but he's been faster than everybody else, it seems like. So a bit of a strange race for Kessler today. Personally, I think he's been pretty close to Herman in terms of pace, but Herman's stuck behind Morich. So it's been a bit of a strange race for Kessler today.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see him a little bit stronger in the next race, which should be with you in about 25-30 minutes, something like that. So certainly tune in for that one. But this one is still very much alive, and we're now on board with Daniel Morrissey. It's right behind Von Human, and here he comes. And he just needs to line this one up here. So many kind of different lines you can take through this one, at least on the exit. And he didn't really get the drive out he wanted. Morris not going directly into the slipstream, but he's going to be right on the tail now. Can he get the run through this one? Just misses the apex a little bit late on the throttle. We can maybe have a look for the inside into turn 2, but no way through that. Little bit of turbulent air, maybe a little bit of understeer in that Formula Renault car, and just sits behind the Graham Hill and a big slide there. And can maybe go for a bit of a dive bomb here, but just needs to absolutely nail this exit. Gain a little bit of understeer, and now he can gain a little bit down the straight. He will look to the inside, but defended off there by the car ahead of Von Human. And here comes Morris on the outside, on board with him, and he's on the marbles, and he's made it. That's a brilliant move, Alex.
Fantastic move there from Daniel Morris. I mean, not what I want to see from one of my drivers moving down the order, but can't fault Daniel there. Fantastic move. Very soon. Bit of a slide there from Morris there. Maybe Van Hooyman can capitalise on that, but it's a very similar move to what we saw from Phil Reed earlier on in the race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it always seems like the default move around here. It's one of such difficulty, but then it's really, I'd say we saw it on Sunday as well, Alex, how that one is very, very possible if you're in the right position.
It just seems to be always the way. The driver ahead just, covers up the inside, but just can't quite carry the momentum, and he needs to leave a little bit of room, and it compromises exit somewhat, as Morris just has a bit of a connection issue. And yeah, and that's going to slow him down, might lose his place. No, he doesn't. Does hold on, but squeaky bum moment, that's for sure. And yeah, so just back to the point, I just think default is defend up close and tight to the line, and it always compromises your exit so much. So I think we're going to see another example of it right now.
Yeah, Hay going to the outside and straight around the outside. That's yeah, perfect illustration. And yeah, those drivers certainly finding a lot of grip out there. Certainly no marbles out there, seemingly. And yeah, it's still looking very strong. Out in the lead. That's closed in a little bit, by the way. It's down to 1.2 seconds, and Jordan Pierce just having a little bit of a spin there, losing a couple of positions to, I think that was to McLeod and to Sluman, and he's going to lose another one. Is that? I think that was a lapped car, maybe. And here comes Pierce, and yep, just got on the grass. I'd say it's the most common mistake around this circuit, getting a wheel onto the grass there, Joe.
Yeah, it's not a new circuit, so we go to places like Kota and all these new circuits have all this fancy runoff, but a bit of old style grass does the trick, and then if you go on it, spins the car around, and you know, you pay the price for that, as looks like he's going on to the grass for a little offer it again, letting the leaders come through. Or Stefan Herman and Phil Reed is that. No, Stefan Herman's Charlie Summers, correct me. And they're just chasing Ludmir Moritz there in the PSR orange car.
Can't have an awful lot of time left, to be honest. I would think this is going to be the last lap. 40 minutes is up.
Yes.
So Osterkamp, I mean, he's got a bit of pressure. I mean, Godden's there towards the end, but we haven't really kept an eye on that. It's been sort of just over a second for the last while, but yeah, on the final lap, it's just crept under.
Yeah, well, I wonder if Osterkamp is a little bit low on fuel, maybe. But I think he's going to be okay. I think he has confidence in the gap. And this will be his first feature race, like I said earlier on, since the first round. But it would be his 5th race of the season, far more than anyone else. Very much to the pattern of the season. As René Osterkamp comes to the line, it's going to be another win for him. He crosses the line. And yep, his 5th victory of the season. Well done, René. Godin in second, pushed him all the way. Phil Reed had to earn that one, really, in the early stages. Up 3 positions, didn't have the qualifying he wanted. Looks as though it might be another bit of an off weekend for him. But he's very much answered the doubters. And yeah, up in P3 and Kessler, little bit of a lonely race for him out there in 4th. And behind them is Moritz. Only race for him as well after a decent start. Lost a little bit of time in the early stages to the cars ahead, but was comfortable in the end. And yeah, Darv and Imre now coming across the line. And
guys, what happened to Summers?
Oh, maybe he hit the DSQ limit. Maybe. That's the only.
Yeah, because all of a sudden he's just gone. I can't.
He put low in the chat. Maybe. He did make contact with Takax, didn't he? That would have been a 4X. So it looks like he's just gone over it. That's a shame because Charlie was having a pretty good race overall. He will still get points. Finish P16 because he'll be the first man to be a lap down. So all is not over, but he won't be.
Just going to see if we can see exactly what happened here, you know. We're on the final lap. Jump back on the replay a little bit, but
I'm guessing he just ran wide somewhere in the final section of the track and just got that incident point, and there he went.
Well, it's only on 7 off track according to our system because it's not 100% reliable. And yeah, it wasn't there. Oh, this is going to be painful. If this is an off track round here, he will be so annoyed with himself.
15x on final lap, he said in chat. Looks like there was it.
Jeez, yeah, 2 corners from the end. Oh, that is not what you want to do.
He's going to be kicking himself for that one. Charlie is.
Yeah, certainly not Charlie Summers Day. And yeah, down a lap going to be. I don't think he's going to be in the running for a top grid position for the next race. But René Osterkamp certainly claiming a top position in this race, and it's him who takes the race victory, just 0.6 of a second clear of Jean-Francois Godin in the end. Another really good performance from Godin, certainly establishing himself as probably the joint fastest driver in this series, at least around these British circuits. Phil Reed, good job from him in third. Patrick Kessler, 25 seconds behind his teammate. We'll be looking for a little bit better in the next race, but still, to give credit to him, a very good result. Lubomir March in 5th place, Stephen Herman 6th. Glenn-Andre Key, he did well to go from 12th to 7th. Sarah Dub did very well to go from 14th to 8th. Really exhibited some really good pace up there. Evan Imre in 9th. Connor Ryan, a little bit under the radar, but yeah, he did a good job to finish in 10th. I think that's one of his best feature races of the season. Erka Lindström, another driver we didn't really mention too much, 19th to 11th. I think the biggest gainer out there. Really well done to him. Daniel J. Morris in 12th. Tom Van Humen in 13th. Robert Plumley 14th. Alistair Hay 15th. Charlie Summers, as we were talking earlier on, 2 corners away from what would have been a 7th position. But yeah, he's way down the field now in 16th. Ty McLeod finished in 17th. Couldn't really make up the progress from the back row of the grid. I think he got caught up in an instant early on. Marvin Sluman in 18th. Jordan Pierce 19th. Alexei Sorokin in 20th. I.M. Keeman 21st. Marcel Miles 22nd. Alec Hudson 23rd. Christian Takacs got caught up in a first lap incident, and so did Juri Mojak in 25th. Alex, do we have a wheel?
I don't think we do have a wheel, do we? This is no,
okay.
no. This is Joe. You can probably confirm exactly what the reverse grid regulations are, because yeah, we're so used to spinning a wheel here at
Yeah.
TV to determine who's going to be on the pole. This is one of the series we don't.
Yeah, I think pretty sure it's random between 16th and 20th who will be on the pole and reverse from there. So let's say, for example, it would be P19 that gets reversed. Jordan Pierce would be on the pole. Marvin Sluman will be second. Ty McLeod third, etc. And then it would go right down to the leader in P19. And then it'd be Alexei, I'm Keeman, Marcel Miles, Alec Hudson, and Christian Takacs, and Juri Mojak. But we'll have to see when we get back into the session, I guess.
Yeah, we can do exactly that.
Yeah, we'll see you then in about 15 minutes' time. Make sure you catch it for the second race of the evening here at Brands Hatch. Welcome back to the AOR Formula Renault 2.0 series here at Brands Hatch, and we are here for race 2 of the evening. And Jay, race 1 was a good one. I thought the strategy played a big part. We had plenty of battles through the field and a lot of very impressive overtakes.
Yeah, René Osterkamp came out on top in the feature race here at Brands Hatch today, and as you said, many battles throughout the field, especially in the mid-pack. Very, very tight, and interesting to see how some of the faster drivers come through the field here today. We're seeing a new name in this race. He wasn't racing last race. Mark Usher, the last season's runner-up.
Yeah, should be good to see him. I don't really know too much about Mark, because this is my first year with this series, but I think I've covered another series with him in. I swear I have, but yeah, because yeah, last season's champion, as I said.
I've raced Mark, and I know he's none too shabby. So you know.
Well, he's just gone fastest out of everyone in the practice session, in the warm-up session before race 2 by 3 tenths. So he's no slack.
Well, I was a bit concerned that he was going to start from the back, and you know it'd be a bit of a dull race for him. But of course, with this reverse grid, of course, all the front runners are going to be starting from the back. As you said earlier on, the front runners are going to have to try to make their way through the field. Donington, Alex, it was actually a really good battle, I thought. In the end, it was kind of difficult to tell who was the fastest drivers, and it was going really close towards the end. I think that pursuit of the quick drivers chasing down the slower drivers, I think is a great element.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I really enjoy these reverse series races that we cover here on the channel. And you know, it's not only obviously here on AOR, but also on our own sort of Apex Racing TV channel. We do a lot of them now. Seems to be a lot of series. Seems to be the way forward. You know, we have I think Monday night the World GT series do it. And Tuesday night we've got the BSR MX-5 do it. Thursday night we've got the BSR touring cars, and that's with the Kia Optima, which is actually a crazy amount of fun. And then we obviously do it here on the Friday night. Saturday now we're doing it with the V8 supercars, and I believe on Sunday we do it with the BSR IMSA series as well. So many series doing reverse grid racing, and actually it is an extreme amount of fun. So and, you know, other people get a chance to win, which is always good and keeps people coming back.
Yeah, because it is only 25 minutes. This is compared to the other kind of reverse grids we do, 25 minutes isn't that long, and I think, Joe, it kind of puts pressure on the quick drivers. They can't be slouching about. They've got to absolutely make moves when they can.
Yeah, they've got to make the move as soon as it comes to them. But the other thing there is they've got to be patient. Some of these guys will be like nowhere near to their levels, and they'll be braking in completely different places, and they just won't expect it. So they've got to be wary of that they won't be as fast as them, with no disrespect to any of the drivers lower down. But I think we're going to the grid now.
I think that's always been the sort of the takeaway point that I've seen on the reverse grid races as well, especially people who are not new to are sort of new to that type of racing. You know, they drive. You know, I've seen sort of world championship level drivers come in and they race, and they're racing against people that are, say, 1500 iRacing or something like that, and they're attacking them as if they were, you know, racing against them in a strength of field race. And of course, they wonder why they smash them up the you know, exhaust pipe, and you know, they're like, "Oh, you're so slow." It's like, no, it's not their fault for being slow. It's your fault for hitting them. You got to be ready. You know, not everybody drives the same.
Yeah, and because it's going to be interesting to see how those fast drivers get through the field. Marvin Sluman's on pole position. I did mention earlier how it'd be good to see him on pole position because he's not done too many races this season. He starts on pole time. McLeod, look out for him. From second, he's very quick. Charlie Summers third. Alistair Hay fourth. Robert Plumley, John Van Human, Daniel Morris, Erk Lindstrom, Conor Ryan, Evan Imre in 10th. Sarah Dove, Glenn Klee, Stephen Herman. And we are about to get away here. It's Sluman from the pole. And away we go. And can McLeod get into the lead? Really does need this one. He's on the outside. He's going to try to go all the way through here. Summers starting apart in third, and he's going to go 3 wide. And there's big crash in the background. Hey, Dove was involved as well. Summers is into the lead, by the way, and massive pile up.
Yeah, I think Alistair Hay was the first man to get hit. I think he got hit from behind. Conor Ryan, Daniel Morris involved, Evan Imre. So many drivers involved there, but this is gonna, like, the amount of positions some drivers have made up. Mark Usher has gained 12 positions. So.
Oh, he's up 13 now. He's just got past Godin, which is a massive move.
Another crash.
Oh, they've got an instant. That's them involved.
Godin and Usher.
Oh,
Godin
I can't believe it. The two
commentator's curse.
Oh, that's incredible because they look so strong out in making their way through the field, and they've potentially just cost each other the race win, Alex.
I think so. We'll see exactly. Do you know what? It's kind of a 4-into-1 situation there, and I think that actually is a perfect example of what we were talking about. Two very quick drivers attacking a corner, attacking each other effectively, but not aware of what's going on directly in front of them with a couple of slower guys. They took so much speed through there to try and stay ahead of each other that they just couldn't get out of the drivers that are ahead of them were slower, and yeah, boom.
Yeah, and
sorry, Sam, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No.
I think we've got some like 7 or 8 drivers in the pits after that first lap incident. Huge amount of fuel just in the pits, and Alexei Sorokin plus 13 positions.
That'll work. Yeah, you're right with the drivers that we've had in. I'll just give you a rundown. So, Morridge, Pierce, Dove, Morris, Plumley, Hay, Imre, and Reed have all been into the pits.
Got to bear in mind there are still some cars out there with damage. I believe Conor Ryan is one of them. Alec Hudson, Mark Usher, and Godin obviously collided. So this is really shaking things up. We're going to get a replay of the start here. So a clean getaway.
Going to focus on Hay. So you say, I think that's right there, wasn't it? Just turned across a little bit and then just everything just. You know, he was lucky not to get collected by more people there.
Yeah, he got away with just slight damage to the car. I mean, he had to pit, but
I'm trying to think. Was the Usher and Goodman one on the first lap? It was, wasn't it? So
yeah, it was.
Let's stay with this replay then and see exactly what happened.
Yeah, because Usher was just rapid on that first lap, and he's going to make the move here, and get into the slipstream, and he actually goes to the inside, which is the line that the drivers haven't really preferred so far today. And I wonder if they just stay side by side for a few corners. They're still side by side here. Wow! Oh my goodness! And it interpret it how you want, but that was, I think, just a racing incident.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. I think it was hard to tell from the onboard shot as well exactly what happened, how much room there was out there. But yeah. Oh, who's out on the grass?
That's Sorokin, is that? And he's got past Sluman. And that's René Osterkamp, already up into P6, gained 12 positions. So these drivers who have been starting further down, because they're good results, not in Alexei's case, but René has managed to gain 12 positions starting down in P18. And is he going to make up another one, Alex?
Yeah, I think so. Got the run. And just see if he can get the run out of Paddock and into Druid. Certainly can. And I have to say, Sorokin kind of left him room. Oh, a little bit of wheel spin coming off of Druids as well. But yeah, Sorokin knew he would have the preferred line for Graham Hill Bend, and that's allowed him to defend. And yeah, Renault really giving it some. Just it's quite hard to get the Renault a bit leery coming out of the corners, but he managed to do it there.
Yeah, I think Renault was just expecting Sorokin to pull over for him, but they're easy for Renault. And Kessler, I think, was just making a move there, and he's side by side with Glenn Andre Key down the inside, and now who's that gets him involved? That's Takak, who had an awful first race, getting caught up in an instant. He's going to go through, and this is an awful few corners for Glenn Andre Key, who has just lost 4 positions.
I think I think you're about to say the same thing. Let's have a look. I've got it on replay, I think. Let's see. Oh dear, yeah. That'll injure
Running in P2 was he was running in P2 out there, and that's very disappointing to see that one happening, because he had a bad race as well, didn't he? So that's disappointing for him to have that incident. But it's still Summers out in the lead, by the way. 7.5 seconds clear of the man you're watching right now, Tom Van Humen. He's just ahead of Stefan Herman, who had good pace in the first race, probably the joint 4th fastest driver. And it's going to be difficult for Herman to make up that gap. Is there any chance for him, you think, Jay?
It's 8 seconds. And I mean, Herman's had fantastic pace so far, but I think 8 seconds, we've got 18 minutes. I think Charlie's going to have to make a mistake or two for Herman to be able to get up there, and Osterkamp not too far behind him either. So I know that Herman is actually in Sim RC, not racing under the Sim RC name in this series, but he'll probably have the access to the same setups that Osterkamp and Kessler are using. So it'll pretty much be all down to the driver as he looks to make a move for P2 and Tom Van Hooyman in that pink VRT car.
Yeah, Hyman's going to try to hang on here. He's on the inside. How on earth was that not contact? He might be able to come back here into turn 2. He's going to have to be brave on the brakes. But no, he gave up. Or it probably to a smart decision. He didn't go on for another corner. It'd be a good result for Human if he can just get maybe a top 5, perhaps. I think it's going to be a matter of time until Rene makes the move. After that, Alexei Sorokin, Christian Takacs, who's by the way up 16 positions is Christian in what 6 minutes that we've had so far. So quite a good start for Christian. And in fact, yeah, Osterkamp up 14, Sorokin up 15, and Takacs up 16. So Sleeman slow. He's gone down 10 places from the start. He's gradually been losing the positions as this race has gone on. And yeah, just trying to find the replay of it. Yeah, it seems as though he just lost the rear by himself, Alex.
Yeah, it did. Not really sure exactly. I'm just going to see if I can get it back a little bit further, because that seemed a bit too... See if there was anybody else involved. I don't think there is. No. Yeah. That's not the right line through there.
Yeah, I kind of lost the rear the first time, got onto the curb, and then lost it the second time. Must be frustrating for him, but yeah, still out there and still running, unlike many other drivers. And there's a move by Kessler losing out to Godin. So Godin, well, he's somehow... There must have been a mistake from Kessler, because he was further up the field, wasn't he?
I hate to say it, but Kessler's just not quick today. You know? How disappointing. He's just not got the pace. I don't know if he got caught up in something and got some damage. Let me have a look, see if I can see before I give him a bit of a hard time. I can't see damage on the wing or anything like that that might indicate, you know, why he's slow, but he's just not been putting in the lap times today. You know, he had a good result the last one, still, and I think, you know, he'll still pull out a fairly reasonable result today, but he hasn't got the pace of, you know, of his teammate or Gordon or some of the others today, so just really struggling around here. And I'll tell you what, I understand that completely, because I don't know what it is about this place. I always find, even when I come here with like my teammates, I'm 3/4 of a second off where I usually am compared to them. So those that I'm a little bit quicker, I'm a little bit slower, you know, and those that I'm maybe like a 1/10 off, I would be like 8/10 off or something like that. Just one of those tracks that I just can't seem to grasp, and I'm wondering if Kessler's having the exact same sort of problem, you know, just can't quite get it.
Yeah, it is a very unique circuit, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it's a lot different to many tracks that they'll be racing. It's completely different to Donington. This is a very high speed track. I mean, Donington, the first section's quite fast, but the last section of the GP lap is very, very slow, and we just don't have that sort of slow section here at Brands Hatch. I'm hearing from the chat that Interesting has said that Kessler's got wing damage on the left side, is slightly bent, maybe from that lap 1 turn 1 sort of collision.
Oh, you can see it from there. You couldn't quite see it from the onboard, could you? But see if we can get a bit closer. You can just see it is minor, but it does make a difference, you know.
Yeah,
so,
especially in these cars, and because they are so even in terms of pace. I mean, setup makes a difference, but setup is sort of the main thing, and then driver. But Kessler just, you know, he's usually one of the top drivers. He's just been very, without any disrespect to him, very average today. Nothing really special from him.
It's funny, I remember when the car first came out, it was like an indestructible tank. It didn't matter what you did to it, it just didn't slow down, and everybody moaned on the forum to get the damage just made a little bit more sensitive. And now I've seen completely the opposite. Yeah, it's like, come on, it's too sensitive now, a tiny bit of damage, and we're like, you know, a second and a half slower. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, it's just something. I think that's a typical iRacing quirk, isn't it? Is they take what they've got, they get some feedback, and then they go way too far the other way with it.
Yeah.
So, it's like, you're like, well, we want a little bit more tyre degradation. You know, you go from having a 30-lap tyre to a 10-lap tyre. You know? It's like, come on, we don't want to go quite that far. Get it in the middle. Balance of performance, that's another good one as well with the GT cars. They're like, oh, this car's OP next season. It's just like the worst car ever.
Add 50 kilos to it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Yeah, I don't know how to do things in small margins, do they? So.
Because hopefully we'll have the new damage model soon by the end of the year, which would be brilliant for these single seaters. Because yeah, we can't lose parts of the car properly. You can, if you smack the wall hard enough, you can lose the nose. But hopefully we can have replaced parts, and that would be certainly help this series quite a lot. And help the realism as well, and all the single seaters. Benny Osterkamp, by the way, has gone up a couple of positions, managed to get past Tom Van Herman and Stefan Herman as well. And now 11 seconds behind. He's not going to catch realistically, is he, Jay?
No, as I said before, Charlie's going to have to make a mistake if anyone's going to catch him, and he'll have to be a pretty big mistake. 11 seconds. Last lap, Rene was 0.2 faster, so that just isn't going to cut it currently. I mean, I don't think Rene will be complaining winning the first race and coming P2 if it stays as it is, gaining 16 positions. I'm sure he wasn't expecting that just halfway into this race.
Yeah, I think it would actually be his most successful kind of double round of the season. He had 2 seconds last week. If he could get a first and a second this week, that would be his best his best double meeting of the season. So yeah, it would still be more points for him, and would edge even closer to that championship, which really isn't far away now from him. He's yeah, just a couple of decent results away. We're currently watching Jean-Francois Godin, who's also made up a couple of positions recently. Or he got past Christian Takac in the last couple of laps, and because Christian, one of the very fastest drivers of this championship. But I must say, Alex, Godin has super impressed me this week and last.
Yeah, I tell you what, it really has stepped it up, hasn't it? You know, starting at Donington, wasn't it, last week? Really, really quick there. And yeah, last few weeks just sort of really showing what he's got. And I think had we seen that sort of performance from the very start of the season, certainly wouldn't be talking like Osterkamp was getting ready to wrap up the championship. I think those two would have been going at it all the way to the end.
Yeah, and he's right on the tail of Sorokin, and we'll be looking for a way past. He can get past Sorokin. You'll then have 1.6 seconds up to Tom Van Humen. And down the inside, here goes Godin, and that's very simply done. Not usually an overtaking spot, but you know, got a good run from the final corner, and I think, yeah, he's looking good for maybe a podium, Jay. He's, what, 6 seconds behind the podium positions. He's got quite a bit to gain still.
Yeah. What we've got just under 10 minutes remaining in this race. He's been quicker than Tom Van Hyman so far. Half second faster last lap, so that shouldn't be too difficult for him. Stefan Herman a bit too far up the road, I think. So I think P4 for Jean-Francois will be a very, very good result, once again gaining 13 positions from that.
Yeah, and because he's in the battle for third in the championship. He's currently on 181 points. Charlie Summers on 195, and with Summers not having the best first race, because having a good race out there right now, I think he might actually leapfrog him into third place. And Takac also had an awful first race, so I think this could be a good round for Godin. And with March and Reed struggling to pick up points, and Nolden as well at P3 in the championship could be his very soon. So yeah, he needs to carry on putting in the lap time. He's just a second behind Tom Van Humen now. Currently watching Connor Ryan close in on Sarah Dove. Alex, Sarah looked so good in the first race, seemingly struggling in this one. Can't see any damage on her car, but yeah, it seems to be struggling a little bit for pace.
She was definitely involved in that first lap incident with Connor.
One of the ones that pitted as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would explain why those two are 54 seconds off the race lead. I don't think they're 54 seconds a lap slower in 15 minutes. Is that Connor making a move? Yeah, so just backing out there. So that's Connor Ryan up into P14 for the Radicals and line driver. And is that Marvin Sluman just ahead of them for position? Indeed it is, in the orange and black car.
Yeah, normally making a pit stop in this race would rule you out of any points, but I think you were saying earlier on, Jay, it's top 16 for this event, or top 14 who get points in this event, so they're looking strong to add to their tally for this season.
Yeah, they are. I think it's just the fact that huge collision has eliminated so many drivers due to damage and whatnot. Connor Ryan, P13 now, ahead of Marvin Sluman. He's got a bit of a gap, 10 seconds to Alec Hudson. Looks a bit too far to catch, but yeah, I think just this race has just been such an odd one. We have the massive pile up at the start. So yeah, that's why we've lost so many drivers.
Yeah, I think we might be about to see a move between 4th and 5th, Tom Van Humen and Jean-Francois Godin, because Godin is looking very quick. He's within about 1.5 tenths of a second now. I think we'll be looking for the move perhaps at the end of the back straight, and Godin has just made the move, and Van Humen had to just back out of that one. It was on the inside, but he did the smart thing to just give in on that one. Here's the overtake from on board, and it's very much a carbon copy of what we've seen already today. Godin around the outside, he gave him room, but they really didn't want to get involved in a collision there, did Tom. And he's just got Sorokin behind him, and Tom Van Humen falling down a little bit. Wonder what's happened to Takacs. Have you seen what happens to Takacs, Alex? Because he's, I thought he dropped back a little bit, but I think that is where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'll be honest. He's had a few off tracks. I've just been keeping an eye on him on the the event viewer that we get. So he's just struggling a bit. There's one, and let's just see. I can get you another one. I think up on screen. And this is probably where he lost a little bit of time. So just see exactly what it was. So just run wide here through Paddock Hill, picked up another one there. So I just think he's again perhaps another one of those drivers just struggling a little bit here. Not really showing the pace, has he? He's going to find himself under a bit of pressure from Kessler, who we were giving a bit of hassle for not having kind of pace that we're used to from him, but yeah, that turned out to be damage, and he's got to try and find his way past by Christian.
Yeah, I wonder if Christian's got a little bit of damage after all those off tracks, because he's really struggling for pace right now. He just did a 20.5, which is over 1.5 seconds slower than the fastest drivers out there. So meanwhile, Kessler has actually improved his time solidly into the 19s now, whereas earlier he was struggling to get into those 19s. Let's see what this time is. Takacs comes across the line. There's a 1 minute 20.38, so another poor lap for Christian. Jay, if you do go off the track, as Christian has done a couple of times, does that cause floor damage, which can cause you quite a lot of time?
It can do. It sort of depends. As Alex was mentioning earlier, this car is very, very fragile now. So you have got to be careful running over curbs and things. Could damage the wing. You've just got to be careful with the car, and especially being so close to Patrick. Straight line speed is what is most affected. Really, with damage, can be a big issue if you're slow down the straights.
Yeah, whilst there aren't too many straights down here, you can, you need everything that you can get. And of course, in such a close race like this, seems as though Kessler's just lining this one up, and not too far behind is a Joey. Didn't have too good a first race. Jim Mojak, he actually finished dead last. I think had an issue out there on the first lap. And Alex, this is kind of the perfect position for Jury to be, because there's not really any better sight than two drivers ahead of you fighting tooth and nail.
Yeah, I think at this point you've almost convinced yourself, haven't you? Like, yep, they're going to hit each other. I'm going to take both these spots right now. Oh, nearly happened.
Uh,
So yeah, and I think there's good reason to it. You know, you could just tell, can't you, from the body language of the car, you know, that they're both feeling particularly racy, and yeah, it's like, you know, music to your eyes, isn't it, kind of thing. Really, that's what you want to see. So, but yeah, I will point out as well, Osterkamp took a second out of Summers that lap. So it's come down a long way. I mean, there's only 3 minutes to go, so I'm not getting too excited, but definitely he's giving it everything, trying to go around the outside then, Kessler.
Oh, this would be a
Side by
good one.
side.
He's got the momentum.
Right.
And can he pull ahead going into this one? No, he can't. And down the inside goes Juri. And still down the outside goes Kessler. He surely
Not
can't
giving
hang
up.
it around this one. He can get the inside for the next one. Sure, he's going to have to go defensive. He hasn't done. And Kessler's just going to go straight down the inside. But he can't make it stick. And now it's a drag race. And Mojak trying to get involved. And he might try to make it 3 wide here. Going into the final corner. And Kessler still on the outside. He's going to drag down into turn 1. Can he pull to the inside now? And Mojak desperately trying to get involved in this one. Trying to make at least one position up. Down the inside he goes. Takak still hanging on. He's still not clear of Kessler. Still going defensive. Kessler still on the outside. And here he goes. Trying to hang it round. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. This one could be coming to an end sometime soon. Doesn't seem like it, but here it comes. And still, Kessler's in range for an overtake here. But for now, Takac has hung on, Joe.
Yeah, but Kessler's got to watch out from behind. Maybe this could be a bit of team play here. Christian hasn't really got anything to gain ahead of him. Good 12 seconds up the road. And these drivers are both a team AOR, Jiri Mojak and Christian Takac even. Kessler is going to go for a move around the outside, do what he did 1 lap ago.
Oh, it cuts back.
Oh, he's got the inside now, and this is the line that you want. And he's surely going to have it this time. And through as well goes Mojak, maybe. But no, oh, and he's off the track. Here is Kessler. And back comes... This is absolutely incredible. Back comes Takac. And now having to go defensive is Kessler. Against Mojak, holds on. And Alex, he must be so annoyed right now because he pulled off a sublime move, learning from the last lap, and he just lost it on the next one.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the last lap as well. We've only got 30 seconds left on the clock, so he's got to get it done. At least he knows what he needs to do. Just needs to try and shape it up again. Not much else going on out there. I mean, there's this battle as well, actually. Sorokin and Human, they're going to be side by side.
Yeah, here comes Ben Human on the inside, and just about holds on at the moment. But he can't gain the cutback hit, not quite.
This final lap.
Yeah, and Charlie
Flag's
Summers
been
is coming
waved,
to the
Charlie's
final
winning.
corners, and yeah, across the line, Charlie Summers, another victory for him. Really good lights to flag finish for him. Got the lead on the second corner, and Rennie Osterkamp will just add more points to his collection. Quite a few already this season. Herman third, Godan fourth, Human fifth, and Sorokin is close, and Ben Human's kind of claim that 5th position. Let's see if Kessler's gone past.
Kessler's got through.
Oh, I can't believe it. And here comes Mojak. Here's the last corner lunge, maybe. Not quite Kessler. Can he hold it to the line? Yes, he will. That was hard fought. He'll be glad to take that one home after making that mistake on the last lap. He'll get 7th. Brilliant battle. Mojak couldn't profit from it in 9th. Moric in 10th. Didn't really watch him too much. He only ended up 1.5 seconds behind those guys. So, it really was quite close in the end. And Sleeman's had an issue.
Oh, I think he should still finish P16 though. Alec Hudson, I believe, got disqualified just a lap ago. So that is a shame for him, but everyone else collecting points. You're going to see the move here, I believe.
Oh, this was the lap before, I think.
Previous, yeah. I'm just trying to find the right one, which is weird because I can't find it.
Wouldn't be surprised if it was a carbon copy of that move last time, because they nearly, well, it did work out, but not quite sure what happened there. But Jay, that was a really good drive from Charlie, wasn't it? If it starting from that P3, it was pretty simple for him, but that move early on, getting into the lead, I think on the second corner of the race, that would prove decisive.
Yeah, he didn't have the best of feature races, which obviously let him down the order. So he started up in P3, which was a bit unexpected, to be honest with you. We'd usually expect Charlie to be way down starting in the sprint race, because obviously finishing near the top, but he manages to start P3, and then all of his rivals, Renault P18, Stefan P13, you know, all these guys he's used to racing just so far down the pecking order at the start, which just allowed him to pull that gap after that crash. I mean, I don't think that crash helped Charlie, but he still won wins by 7.7 seconds, so I don't think he'll really be bothered.
It was literally the exact same move for Kessler, by the way, on Takax to hold that one. Learning from his mistakes from a couple of laps previous, and I think we can now take you through the results. And it's Charlie Summers taking his third victory of the season, which I think is second best of everyone out there in the field. A very good drive from him out there, and Rennie Gostkamp just adding more points for his championship. Going to be very soon. He's going to have his hands on that trophy. Stefan Herman, good drive from him. I think that's one of his best finishes of the season. He's been strong all day. He hung on against Jean-Francois Godin, who, considering I think he had a spin early on, not quite sure, but it generally just started low down and did get involved in a collision. He ends up in fourth. Tom Van Heumen in fifth. He had a good start and actually did pretty well to claim a top 5 position. Alexei Sorokin finishes in 6th, Patrick Kessler in 7th, Christian Takacs 8th, Jerry Mojak in 9th, Lubomir March 10th, Glenn Andre Key had a bit of a quiet race in 11th. Sarah Dove had a collision early on and still managed to finish in 12th. Had to make an extra pit stop with Sarah, but did not stop her with that very good position in the end, considering. Erica Lindstrom finishes in 13th, Phil Reed 14th. He was involved in that collision as well and somehow finished 14th. Mohammed Sluman got the pole sitter. Wasn't the race he needed. He had a couple of spins, fell down to 15th. Robert Plumley in 16th, at Hudson 17th. Conor Ryan in 18th, Evan Imre 19th, Mark Usher 20th, Alistair Hay 21st, Jordan Pierce 22nd, Dan J. Morris 23rd, and Ty McLeod from the front row of the grid. So disappointing to see him finish in 24th, because he would have been one fighting for the win potentially, and should be getting some interviews, I believe. Got Tom
Van Heumen.
Yeah, got Tom Van Heumen here, and here he is. And Tom, really well done there. A P5. You had to fight for it quite a bit out there. How do you feel?
I'm feeling exhausted because I got a fever as well, so my body temperature is like 39, 40 degrees. So I'm really tired, but I don't know how. But I defended Alexei off. I was like, all right, just let Jean-Francois Godin go through, because like really consistent at this in the sprint race. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try and defend Alexei off from me. That happened. So I'm really I'm really happy with this result, and a P13 in future as well. So this is my my best weekend or ever. So
yeah, like that P13 in the first race shouldn't be underrated. That was another really good drive, a good qualifying as well. So yeah, a brilliant day, wasn't it?
Well, I would be with qualifying be a little up higher in the future race, because I was doing 18.5, 18.6 or something in practice yesterday, but I couldn't get that pace in, so I was really disappointed with the qualifying result. But yeah, the race went really well, but with the 40 minutes and with my fever, I was like losing concentration, and I was like getting slower and slower each lap. But yeah, I was really happy to get P13, and yeah, I'm really happy with P5. That's my best result ever. So
Yeah.
no incident points as well in the sprint race, so I got 2 extra points as well. So
Oh yeah, good achievement there. And yeah, of course, look, this isn't a circuit I would think where you want to lose concentration because put a wheel onto the grass and that can be game over.
Like instantly 5 or 6 corners where you touch the grass, it's like instant wall or something. So, so yeah, you need concentration. But yeah, I pulled it off, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, and before we let you go, is there anyone that you'd like to thank?
Yeah, like Nigel and Julian, they are watching right now, so they are watching every week. So they my like my true friends. So
Yeah, thanks, Tom. We'll see you next week at Spa.
guys, next week.
Yeah, we've also got Sarah Dove and Joe. Are you okay to take this interview?
Yeah, sounds good, Sarah. P12 in the sprint race, but you got involved in the lap one incident. Talk us through what happened.
Well, I got a bit of a bad start, and Glenn was coming alongside, and then I managed to sort of duck inside of Evan, and then I came around the corner, and there was like 2 or 3 cars sideways in front of me, so there wasn't a whole lot I could do about that.
Yeah, just one of those things. Tough situation. Feature race, how did that go for you? Were you struggling for pace, or was it? I believe you had a pretty good race.
Yeah, I pretty much made a couple of little mistakes, but I finished 8th behind Glenn, and I don't think I'd have been able to pass him because he was just that bit faster than me. But I just followed him in his slipstream pretty much the whole race, and then pitted with him, and then came out, and then got a top 8, got an 8th, which was really good.
Yeah, very good result for you there. We have the final 3 tracks. We have Spa, we head to Montreal and Road Atlanta. Are those tracks that sort of favour your driving style, or do you really struggle around there?
I'm pretty good at Spa, but the last 2 times it's been on the calendar, I crashed in all the races, so hopefully I won't crash. But I'm not good at Montreal. That's not one of my best. But Red Atlanta's pretty good.
Well, we'll see you next week at Spa in the Ardennes Forest. And Sam, do you have any more interviews, or is that it for today?
Yeah, seems to be about it. I think so. Yeah, like you said, Ardennes Forest next in Spa, and yeah, gonna be a fantastic event. I imagine it should be 60-minute event. So yeah, another endurance event, and René Osterkamp has won the past 2, I think. So he'll certainly be the favorite for that one. But yeah, make sure you tune in next week here on AOR, and yeah, catch the 60-minute race at Spa.